Hey, this is the national treasure, Nick Aldis, and you're listening to the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. He's the Stallion. I'm the fucking enforcer. I'm not even going to restart it. We'll just leave it in.
Because leave it in, buddy.
This is what life is like.
I was going to make, you know what? No, I'm not going to make any off-color jokes.
No, mate, no, go for it.
No, I don't think, sounded like there was some dogs fighting, having a fight upstairs. I was going to say something about Michael Vick, but that's probably an out-of-date joke an out-of-date comment at this point. So,
what were we going to say? Like, what was the joke going to be? Just so I can.
I was going to say, I was Michael Vick upstairs, filming.
He'd be dead. Yeah. He'd be dead. We walked to my house. You know what? Actually, I don't want to say that because you know how Hunter feels. A lot of Anyway, back to what we're doing today. We are here. Last week, we were joined by former Ring of Honor television champion, possibly future Ring of Honor six-man tag champion, Shane Taylor, the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions, talking about Final Battle. And believe it or not, holy shit, it's almost Christmas time as it is. This Friday will be Final Battle 2020, Ring of Honor's first pay-per-view since, I don't even know. I think they were supposed to do Supercard of Honor in March, and that got canceled due to, COVID, and like everything else did in the entire world. But, it seems like we're a couple weeks away from that fixing itself. And so weird how that magically happens. So I believe they taped Final Battle already. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There's the problem is, before we get into the show, EC3, Joe, help me out. EC3, Bandito, and
Kenny King. And there's one other person that
was it Flamita?
Yeah, I think Flamita.
Are taken off the show as per either COVID or COVID tracing. They are not allowed to participate at Final Battle 2020. So the Shane Taylor Promotions versus Mexi Squad six-man tag title seems to be off the show, as does what would have been one of the main events, Jay Briscoe versus EC3 in the grudge match. We do not know what the replacements will be. It seems like they're going to be announced during Ring of Honor. 0 Hour is the name of it, the first hour of the show, which is going to be streaming for free on YouTube, right? Is it YouTube we're streaming?
Yeah, that sounds correct.
So, Final Battle is Ring of Honor's WrestleMania, it's the Final Battle, where all of the feuds, the rivalries come to a head, and that's what we're going to be talking about this week. So we have 8 matches. We'll get into it real quick, and then we'll give our predictions for what we think those replacement matches are going to be. So I have the card in front of me. I'll get it started here.
Yeah.
First match of the night is Tony Deppen versus LSG versus Josh Woods versus Dak Draper in a 4-corner survival match for a shot at the ROH World TV title later on in the show, which I did not realized was the case. Joe, what do you got?
I'm going to go with Josh Woods only because he's been featured lately on Ring of Honor television, specifically since the ROH Pure title tournament started up. He's been primarily wrestling in pure matches, so this will be different for him. But he's been featured on television a lot over the last maybe 2 months or so. So I think this would be a good opportunity for him to get a win and challenge for the ROH TV title later in the show.
Yep, I would agree with you in that. He's been with Ring of Honor for quite some time. He's one half of what the hell's the name of the
2 guys, 1 tag.
2 guys, 1 tag, which is an outdated, gross reference, but kudos to them with Silas Young. So I'm also going to go with Josh Woods in this match. Dak Draper is somebody that probably they're going to build around. LSG was one half of
Coast to Coast.
Thank you. And Tony Deppen, who's everybody's favorite weirdo. It's an interesting 4-way match, but I got Josh Woods. Next up, we have Fred Yeehaw and Wheeler Yuta versus the Foundation, made up of Tracy Hot Sauce Williams and Rhett Titus. Rhett Titus, Joe, where am I? It's a Pure Rules tag team match, which will be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen, maybe there have never been before, a Pure Rules tag team match, but the Foundation is Tracy Hot Sauce Williams, Rhett Titus, Jay Lethal and John Gresham, they have a lot of momentum and no reason to think they're going to lose in this match. However, Fred Yeehaw and Hot Sauce were once part of Catch Point, so they have a long storied rivalry, and they met in the Pure tournament. So it should be a fantastic wrestling match, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I'm taking the Foundation.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think the Foundation as well has been featured a lot on television, as you mentioned, with the Pure title tournament. Tracy Williams getting to the finals. Rhett Titus kind of being revealed in the last 2 weeks as part of the group. So I think this will be a win for the Foundation as well.
Okay, next up, I mean, you're coming over, spoiler, breaking the kayfabe, the fourth wall here. You'll be coming over on Friday to watch Ring of Honor Final Battle. I have a feeling after this match, you're probably just going to leave. It's the one that keeps you up at night. This is the match that everybody's really looking forward to. What some would call the main event of Final Battle. Brian Johnson versus your favorite man, Danhausen. The rules are, if Danhausen wins, he gets an ROH contract. If Danhausen loses, he's out. Joe, will there be teeth in this match?
Never have I been a bigger fan of Brian Johnson in my life as I am this week. And I don't know if he has a PWT store, but I can tell you that if he does and he wins this match, I will be buying all stock of Brian Johnson merchandise as quickly as possible. I am not a Danhausen fan, but I suspect that given the stipulation and the fact that Danhausen, I think, has lost a lot of matches, if not all of his matches in Ring of Honor to this point, that he will win this match and earn a contract in Ring of Honor, thus putting a knife into my eardrum and ruining what has already been a terrible 2020 even further.
Now that that's out of the way, there will probably be teeth in this match, and I hope I hear tequila. Tequila. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Everything you said, Danhausen gets the Duke, but we're here for Brian Johnson. We're here for him. Next up is the OGK, which I'm pretty sure stands for the OG Kingdom. Is that what they call it? Yeah,
that is correct.
Matt Taven and the returning chiseled out of stone Michael Bennett taking on the Righteous, Vincent and Bateman. You love Bateman. You're such a Bateman guy. You know what he should do? He should form a tag with Danhausen. And
I will say that I popped on Ring of Honor television this week when Matt Taven referred to him as Master Bateman, which is straight out of the Beavis and Butthead playbook. So, yeah, I am firmly behind the Kingdom here. I actually think this feud has been pretty well done. Vincent turned on Matt Taven last year. He beat Matt Taven, I believe, at Final Battle last year as well. Sliced his head open with an axe at some point. There's just a lot of stuff going on. Bateman teamed up with Vincent to form the Righteous, as you mentioned. And Mike Bennett returned a couple weeks ago to Ring of Honor, which I think is really a great fit for him at this point in his career, right? He was in Ring of Honor for a long time. He tried a couple of other places, Impact, which I think he was pretty successful there.
Prodigy, right?
The Miracle, yes.
Miracle.
The Miracle in Impact, yeah. And his WWE run, of course, left a lot to be desired. Of course, we don't need to go into any of that stuff. So I think I would like to see the Kingdom win here. I'm going to go with the OG Kingdom to get the win. Bateman will probably take a pin. I think it would be good to see Taven and Bennett get a win in their first match back together. So I'm going with the Kingdom.
Yeah, I echo everything you said, especially the Master Bateman line. I think that got me so good. If you know us and you know Beavis and Butthead, that was 10 out of 10. Yeah, Mike Bennett looks good. Matt Taven looks good. They're better together. And Mike Bennett's music, Joe, how good is it? He's the whole presentation. Will Maria be there? Do we know?
They haven't mentioned it. I know she was there when he wrestled for the NWA's Shockwave show a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. They haven't mentioned it, so maybe it'll be a surprise that she shows up. Let's go with that.
Because Vita Von Starr is going to be with the Righteous. So, yeah, I think Taven and Bennett need to win here, and they could singles or tag together. As long as the Kingdom is back, I'm happy. Next up, we have Dragon Lee versus the winner of the four-way, four-corner survival match from earlier in the night. So that would mean we're expecting a Dragon Lee versus Josh the Goods Woods match. I think, see, I'm torn. I'm thinking about this professional wrestling-wise, and I'm thinking about this reality of life-wise, because if you're going to bring the guys here from Mexico, how often are they going to be able to get back here during the pandemic? Is it best to have them drop the titles now, worry about them getting back the title later? I think Josh Woods takes the title here. Especially, I know there was rumors of Dragon Lee's contract being up the beginning of the year. I think you had told me that. So it should be a good match. I love Dragon Lee. I think he might be best suited for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I think he drops title to Woods.
I agree with that as well. Like you said, the contract situation with Dragon Lee and Roosh, I'm not sure what the deal is. Kenny King is not on the show. So, La Facción is Ingobernables. Yes. I don't know what the future is for them. I know Amy Rose, who had been on our show previously, has been managing that group, and they have, a couple of the championships. But just given the fact that Josh Woods has been on television a good amount and he's been pushed, he recently defeated Jay Lethal in a Pure Rules match. I'm going to say that Josh Woods, assuming he does win that four-way, will win the ROH TV title here, as you mentioned.
Next up, the foundation of Jay Lethal and John Gresham taking on Mark Briscoe and Pierre-Carl Ouellette for the ROH World Tag Team titles. The storyline is EC3 got Jay Briscoe so mad he gave up his tag title shot with his brother to take on EC3 in a grudge match. Now, to me, you just take PCO out and you insert Jay Briscoe here and you get the foundation versus the Briscoe brothers, which would be fantastic. I don't know if they're going to do that. Mark Briscoe and PCO got to win over the bouncers this week on TV to establish them. Dude, not for nothing, but PCO taking the somersault apron bump in an arena with nobody in there has to be one of the most unnecessary things I've ever seen. Like, the guy, God bless him. I mean, what is he, 55, 56?
Yeah, he's dedicated to his craft.
He is. He's in better shape than a lot of the guys, the other guys half his age. But I think the foundation keeps it. I think the foundation truly are the foundation of Ring of Honor, and they will be going forward. I think there's going to be a lot of things built around them. And Jay Lethal just lost on TV to Josh Woods, believe it or not, in a Pure Rules match via Cradle. Actually, hate to be that guy, it was a spladle. So I don't see Jay Lethal losing back-to-back, and John Gresham has the rocket strapped to him. That dude's going to be a player for quite some time. So I think the foundation keep the titles here.
Yeah, I don't see the foundation losing any of the matches on this show. I know this is the second of 3 that they're involved in. So I don't, for all the reasons that you mentioned, I think that Lethal and Gresham will retain here, whether it's against Mark Briscoe and PCO or even if it's against the Briscoe brothers together.
Next up, we have, speaking of John Gresham, Pure Rules champion Jonathan Gresham taking on Flip Gordon for the ROH Pure title. Flip Gordon is not a guy that you think of in the Pure Rules. They did, I will say Ring of Honor is doing a great job with their show. A lot more backstory to each wrestler, as we talked about last week with Shane Taylor. It's funny because Shane Taylor mentioned how he loved the new format of Ring of Honor TV. And then a couple of days later, a report came out that says Ring of Honor actually went to their talent with asking them how they would like the show produced. And it has it's been very well received by critics, by the fans, and by Ring of Honor talent themselves. So holy shit, Joe, who would have thought asking the wrestlers how they want to do things might have a positive impact on the product? You could see it in the ring. Ring of Honor has been a great show. Where I'm going with this is Flip Gordon was on this week, and they were talking about his MMA background. And I'm pretty savvy when it comes to all this shit about who fights and who trains and whatnot. And I personally never knew that Flip Gordon trained jiu-jitsu or had any MMA fights whatsoever. He doesn't have that kind of style. We saw a little bit more of it this week when he wrestled Josh Woods on the Pure for it was a Pure match. I don't want to, how do I say this? I want to be a dick. I don't buy Flip Gordon as a pure wrestler. I buy Flip Gordon as a flip kind of wrestler. Not a spot monkey, but he just prefers the aerialistics. That's a word. I'm gonna take that one and run with it. But Jonathan Gresham should not be losing anything anytime soon. He should probably stretch Flip in 6 or 7 minutes and make it look really, really good. So I'm thinking Gresham keeps the title here.
Yep, agreed. I think really the only buildup for Flip was that win against Josh Woods, as you mentioned. They had not really done a whole lot with him in the 6 to 8 weeks since they've been back on TV. So, but of course, they're limited with the pandemic and just getting started. So a lot of these things had to be put together, relatively quickly. So they're at a disadvantage there. But again, the match itself, I'm sure will be great. But I don't see John Gresham losing this title for a long time, and he'll get the win here at Final Battle.
Main event of the night so far that we know, Roosh, Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, taking on Brody King. Brody King has deviated from the Villain Enterprises. I don't even know if we could talk about Villain Enterprises. I don't know what's going on with Marty Scurll. There's a lot of stuff that nobody knows, but Brody King has really become the standout of that group. He's done a lot of work in New Japan Strong for the last couple of months. And he had one hell of a match with Shane Taylor a couple of weeks ago. Brody King is somewhere between Brody King is like a Vader meets Kobashi kind of guy. Like he's big, he's mean, but he could do he could do luchadorian. It's another word I'm gonna write down after the show's over. Luchadorian stuff. His gimmick is a little bit different. He comes out looking like one of the Bad Luck 13 Riot Extravaganza. If you don't know who that is, look it up. That's kind of Brody King's gimmick. As per the lead singer of hardcore band God's Hate, he fits right into the mold. I think Brody King is the type of guy that you could put the title on in Ring of Honor and you'll get the matches from him. He's not the best promo, but he's intimidating as hell and he looks the part. I think going into 2021, you want the title belt on a guy that can make the shows and can put on matches. I don't know in regards to contract and things like that, but I think the move here is going to be Roosh drops the title clean to Brody King.
I think we've been on the same page with all these picks so far, and this one I'm actually torn on. I know that with the same reasons or same background applies for Roosh as it does for Dragon Lee, and I went against Dragon Lee in his match, which I believe will happen against Josh Woods for the TV title, and he'll drop it. They have done, I feel, a good job of building up Brody King in the short period of time that they've had to do it between the Pure title tournament ending and Final Battle occurring. So he's won a couple of matches on television, including against Shane Taylor most recently a couple of weeks back. So they've made him at least feel like a more established singles wrestler. I would not put the title on him at this time. He has been primarily a tag wrestler there for a long time. I think there needs to be more of a build-up with him. Now, they could be limited, like you said, because of either a contract situation with Roosh or travel availability with these guys. I don't know if they have, in fact, taped this show already, that perhaps they taped more television after the pay-per-view. I would like to think that that would have been a smart thing to do. Maybe tape 4 to 6 weeks of TV if you can, or whatever it is. And perhaps he could drop the title after that. I don't know. I would keep it on Roosh here because I think he is a draw for them when they actually do have crowds. I think at least that faction, I don't know if that faction is going to break up right now. So I think it would be better to take more time to do that if you're going to end up losing these guys to other companies or whatever it might be. So I'm going to say Roosh wins and retains the Ring of Honor title against Brody King. But I think it's probably at least a 50-50 shot in terms of who wins this one. I'd say it's a toss-up.
On paper, very solid card. Nothing like blow the doors off. I'm not trying to be a dick, but there's nothing that's like, oh my God, I have to see that. But you look at the card top to bottom and every single match, especially your Danhausen match, is super interesting. A lot of guys that don't get a lot of credit. Talking about the Fred Yehais, the Dragon Lees, the Bennetts, the Tavens. These guys are very overlooked, and I think they're going to deliver a really, really strong show. Any predictions for what the matches are going to be, the replacement matches?
No, I'm not sure. I don't know with the 6-man titles. That's a tough one because I think, like you said, if Flamita and Bandito are both out, that's 2 2 out of the 3 guys. You know, in the EC3 Jay Briscoe thing has been built up. So my sense is that they'll just wait and do that match after EC3 gets cleared. So I don't know if they're going to add more stuff to it, but I do think that it's good to see some newer faces on the show that were introduced during the Pure Title tournament, and you know, at least during that time period, like Wheeler Yuta, Fred Yehi, Tony Deppen, Dak Draper, people that they've kind of tried to build up because they need to do that, having lost so many people and with the pandemic and everything. So I think, like you said, all the matches on paper should be very good. I hope that delivers, and if it's just a solid wrestling card tomorrow night with some entertaining matches, I think that's all I can ask for. And if they deliver that, then I'll be happy as a Ring of Honor fan.
Yeah, and as a Ring of Honor fan, like you said, the whole show that they've had, all the shows have been great lately, and they've been consistent. It's been good wrestling. So I'm with you on that one. If you want to just kind of mix and match of what's left, give me Shane Taylor versus Jay Briscoe. That's a match that I would pay to see. I hope both those guys, they don't have a match right now. Just best of both worlds, put them together. Regardless of what it's going to be, what we will be doing on Friday night at 8 p.m. is live tweeting the entire show at All Night Long WP. Twitter, Instagram, Book of Faces, Friendster, wherever you could find us, we'll be on there. Also, be sure to check out our parent company over there at Wrestling Headlines on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to them. That's where you can get all the shows from. And at All Night Long WP, like I said, we'll be tweeting all night long. It's actually the first time I did that on Friday for Ring of Honor Final Battle. We're looking for the show. Looking forward to the show. And there's another show I think on this weekend. Yeah, you know what? It's only Ring of Honor this weekend, right? Nothing else going on.
Yeah, nothing else happening.
Nothing else I could think of. That's it for another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. He's your host. He's the Stallion. I am the Enforcer. At All Night Long WP is where you can find us on social media everywhere, and we are tapping out.
Now, with the best friends.